Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company at Watches and Wonders 2025 at Jaeger-LeCoultre, and I am happy to say that our last brand of the show was also first in my heart. As a longtime collector, I'm thrilled to see the novelties, and we're going to start at the heart and soul of the brand. Here in steel we have the Reverso Tribute Small Seconds Duoface. Now this is the Duoface with the caliber 854, as we've known it since the 1990s, but fully revised. You can see there's now a camber to the bottom of the case. We now have a trigger that's built into the case where you ordinarily cannot see it, that's used to index the secondary time zone on the back. Manual wind, 42-hour power reserve with a 3 Hz beat rate. It is, as all Reversos have been for decades, a manufacturer product. One element that I want to shout out is the combination of the grace of the Reverso case with the blue complements of this Casafagliano designed strap, and you can see the sunburst on the dial accentuating the radial grain, metallic brushed and effervescent. We also have quick release straps, as you can see, little pull tabs on the back, and the latest version of the JLC deployment clasp features a little push tab that allows you to remove it as well without tools. Now in terms of size, it's going to be about 47 millimeters by 28.3, so still a lot larger than the old Grand Taille cases, but one of the smaller Reversos for men in the current collection. We're going to step up big time in size. This is one of the major debuts of the show. You're looking at the Reverso Tribute Geographic, and you might ask, what's geographic about it? Well, as ever, we've got the recto and the verso side. So on one side we have this incredible combination of metallic sunburst but with lacquer over it to give it a gloss as well as a gleam. Jaeger-LeCoultre took out a patent for a new double-digit date. Again, we have the indexing mechanism hidden inside of the case where it will not be visible when the case is locked in place. The pin snaps are spring-loaded, they snap back into place, and now you can see the lacquer on the reverse side. Taking a look, we have two semicircles, one dark, one light, representing the areas of the globe where it is approximately day and night. And you can see that this center has been entirely lacquered with a lush and lovely sort of Mercator projection of the world as viewed from the north. A 42-hour power reserve. This one is manual wind, really making the most of the double-sided nature of the Reverso. That snick and snap never gets old. If you want something that's a little bit more lush and opulent, it is available in rose gold. It's going to be mechanically the same, dimensionally the same, and it is a large Reverso, as it's approximately 49.4 millimeters lug to lug and then 29.9 wide. This is one of the larger Reversos, closer to something historically like a Reverso 976. Again, you have that Casafagliano design strap. It's got a lovely seamless, poreless, hairless aesthetic, very slick, smooth, with some broguing of leather over leather. It's a great look. Of course, keep in mind this one does feature a pin buckle, so it's a little bit different in appointments. Now, what might be my favorite single-sided Reverso of all time, this is up there with anything ever made. This is technically the Reverso Tribute Small Seconds, but they're calling it the Art Deco. So, gold deco. Of course, the Reverso, which was created in 1931, was created right in the heart of the Art Deco era. There was also a Reverso Art Deco made in rose and white gold during the 1990s and early 2000s, and this is sort of a throwback to those. Now this is a smaller watch, being just over 45 millimeters from lug to lug and considerably narrower across at approximately 27 millimeters. This is a watch that's easier to wear, still a little bit bigger than the old Grand Taille, but it's very thin, at just over 7.5 millimeters thick, and this one really hangs its hat on that ultra-thin nature in spite of the rotating carriage. Now, as ever on a traditional Reverso, the original concept was if you were playing sports, you would show the buff side to the mallets or the bats or whatever injury or insult might shatter your crystal, and then when you were done you would rotate it again and you would expose the glass crystal and the time-telling facets. This has a wonderful granular rose gold colored dial with applique rose gold indices and a singular Milanese strap. This is almost fabric-like in its souplesse, and no less than 16 meters of gold threads were used to create this Milanese strap. It is, in my opinion, an essential part of this watch in terms of experience. Inside the case, another veteran from the 1990s, caliber 822. These days it's free sprung, but manual wind, 3 Hz, and it's got a 42-hour power reserve. You can also see that there is a distinctive clasp designed to ensure that this Milanese, note there are no perforations, but this Milanese is infinitely adjustable within its length and it will not pull through this clasp due to a clenching mechanism. Okay, now we're going to talk about the big guns. Two pieces that are only going to be made in 40 examples total. Let's start with the Gyrotourbillon 4, this one in Ibris Artistica form. Now the Artistica series takes high-end Jaeger-LeCoultre watches and adds métier rare. So we've got here a combination of scooping out of some of the dial elements to create little wells, which are then filled by syringe with lacquer and polished smooth to create a seamless surface between the metallic elements and the lacquer elements. It's almost like what you would find in the stained glass windows of a Gothic cathedral. This is a big Reverso, but it is purposefully large, 51.1 millimeters lug to lug, and now this is going to be 31 millimeters across, but they're packing a lot into this case. The movement itself, caliber 179, is a manual wind with a 40-hour reserve, which might not seem like a lot until you realize it is a gyrotourbillon. So you have two tourbillon carriages, the outer one rotating in 60 seconds, the inner one rotating in 16. Incredibly power intensive. That's the reason this is a 40-hour power reserve. But look closer. You'll see it has a hemispherical hairspring. So somewhere between a spherical and a cylindrical coil, this gives you all of the running and isochronism advantages of a cylinder and a sphere while taking up less space. Also, you should know this movement is exquisitely decorated because it is all decorated gold. The caliber itself, which is shaped and sized for this case, weighs 30 grams because it is made of white gold. We're going to talk about another big piece, the Reverso Tribute Minute Repeater. Same size, 51.1 by 31 millimeters, but this is a monster machine. There's a lovely barleycorn or grand orge type of guilloche in metallic blue on the dial. Flip it over, we have both our recto and verso sides, and you can actually see the beating heart of the movement. Now this is caliber 953, manual wind, 48-hour power reserve, but that's less important than the fact that it incorporates three critical JLC minute repeater innovations. The first is trebuchet hammers. So there's actually an articulation in the hammer, much like a trebuchet catapult, and that late kick, the second articulation, creates a greater force when it strikes the gong, which brings us to the second innovation. There is actually a bond between the gongs and the sapphire that allows it to ring true and lyrical in spite of the fact that it is a dense and heavy precious metal. So we also have a final refinement that you might miss unless, for example, you set the time to 2:07. We're going to give you a full strike, or as close as I can get to a full strike, but let's say you were to pull the slide at 2:07. On a normal minute repeater, there would be a lot of dead space. You'd hear the governor running, but nothing would happen as it skipped past the 3/4 that aren't there and any unnecessary minutes. Here, you will experience an immediate jump from 2 hours to 7 minutes with no dead, unvocalized quarters contained within the interval. A truly impressive innovation. It's one of the most difficult feats to achieve in minute repeater construction. This one will be somewhat less exclusive than a normal Reverso, with only 30 pieces being made. So Ibris Artistica, 10 pieces, and the minute repeater, as you see it here in rose gold, will be 30 pieces. Time out.